Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. See, in your normal day, you have to do many things. Some of them are optional. Some of them are compulsory. The successful people are those who have a good ratio, a good mix of the compulsory things and the optional thing. For example, you should breathe. It is compulsory. There is no option. You should take healthy food. There is no option. When it comes to examinations, you have to score a minimum mark, which is compulsory. There is no option. When you want to touch electricity, you have to wear a non-conducting material, rubber or wooden thing, which is compulsory. There is no option. But if you are going to lead a life only doing compulsory things, you are going to miss a very important component of growth. Compulsory thing will make you to survive. If you breathe, you will exist. If you touch electricity, if it is required, through gloves, through wooden material, you will live. If you take food, you will live. It's maintenance function. But growth depends upon how many optional things you are doing. For example, if you want to travel abroad, you should have a passport, which is compulsory. You should have a visa, which is compulsory. But optional thing is how you behave when you travel abroad. What you take with you, how you spend your time is optional. But the question is, how am I going to accommodate everything? For example, a morning a PD class like this, a prayer, a spiritual thought, reading an extra book. I am reading a book just now. The book is called Mindset. It's about 300 pages. But nobody is compelling me with a gun here and say, go read this book. But when I do many optional things, my growth index is much better than when I do only compulsory thing. But the question is, how are we going to accommodate everything? I am using the word accommodate. I don't know whether you have experienced it when you travel, especially when you travel abroad. They have a limit of your suitcase size. They have a limit of your suitcase weight. And in your hand baggage, they say only 7 kilograms. It can only be this much. That is frozen. Once you know this is the only suitcase I can carry and this is the only piece I can carry, then you decide which are the things you should take compulsorily and which are the things you should take optional. Then you start thinking, if there is a lightweight tiffin box, let us say, made of plastic, it will occupy space. But then you think whether you can put some handkerchief, socks or some dress material inside, pack it. Then you look at the suitcase, corners, can you pack something? And if you fold your cloth properly, it will accommodate more material. And the wiser people will decide what should be the content. Even compulsory things, they will decide what to take, what not to take. Even optional thing, they will decide what to do, what not to do. And when you pack it this way, you will be able to enjoy your travel. Same thing happens in your life. Whether you like it or not, Your time consists of only 365 days. It is a suitcase which 365 units of time, which is a day. If it is 1 hour, it is a 1 hour suitcase of 60 minutes. And this suitcase is frozen. It cannot expand. At least in a normal material suitcase, you can go for a flexi suitcase so that it can expand without gaining weight. But in a suitcase which is frozen, which is made of trunk box, which is made of wood, which is made of hard plastic, it cannot expand. So you have to ask yourself how I am going to pack my suitcase of day. Let's say that you have 1 hour and you have to think, oh, I got 60 minutes now. What are the things I should do, compulsory things, and what are the things I want to do, and how do you accommodate as much of optional thing is the trick, is the secret. You cannot be forced to meditate. You cannot be forced to focus. You cannot be forced not to do something which you are not supposed to do. If somebody forces, when the compulsion is removed, when the person forcing you is not there, you will go back to your original self. But then, how do you accommodate that extra 1 hour? I'll tell you, it is possible to have a 25-hour a day. It is possible to have 366th day. You may wonder how. You are not expanding the time, but you are using the time more productively. That is, 366th day of work you accommodate in 365 days. You have 65 minutes of work in 60 minutes. That 5 minutes is accommodated like the suitcase. For which I want to give you 2 concepts. All of you are preparing for the exam. The next year you have the 10th standard exam. For many of you have a 10th standard exam now. Some of your friends will be having a plus 2 exam. Some of them will be having an IAS exam. Some of them will be having whatnot, competitive world. Every day there is something or other for you to be challenged. There are 2 concepts I want you to understand. One is called lead time. What is that? Lead time. The other one is called cycle time. What is that? Cycle time. Lead time is the time normally you take to do an activity. For example, you start eating your lunch or your dinner. Start time, end time, you notice you have taken 45 minutes to eat. But if you video cover your eating pattern, there are many activities which you need not have done, which has nothing to do with eating. Right? All of a sudden you put the tiffin box, go and come back. Then you look at this, but then you look at the television for 5 minutes, you don't know what's happening. Then you look at this, again you eat. All these things are non-value adding. It has nothing to do with eating. Next time when you go for a marriage party, if there is a buffet, lunch or dinner arranged, if you really apply your mind intelligently, you can have your food in 15 minutes time. You should check when there will be queue, when there will not be queue. If you know that there is going to be a queue, delay the lunch for some time. If you go and stand with a plate and spoon in hand, the huge queue is there. What do? You spend more time standing in the queue than having the food. Long ago, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years, much more than 30 years ago, I invited a colonel of an army. He gave an excellent example about the lead time and the cycle time. He said in the army, every day there will be a march past, every day there will be a morning drill. 5 o'clock will be a morning drill. And they will be out in a very cold place, maybe Himalayas, maybe wherever. And they have to be there at the parade ground at 5 sharp in the morning. And they will be asked to get up early, 3:30, 3 o'clock, because the number of restrooms and number of toilets will be limited. So everybody would like to get up early, go stand in the restroom with the shaving set in the hand, wait with a towel, and big queue. Actually, it will take only 5 minutes for you to have a shave and maybe 10-15 minutes for you to have a bath. But the more time is spent on standing in the queue. This colonel thought, what is the process? Okay, I should go and stand, but it takes about 15 minutes for me to have a bath and 5 minutes for me to have a shave. Then he will arrange it in such a way. He will not get up at 4 o'clock. He will not get up at 3:30. He will get up at 4:15. By the time most of the crowd would have gone. And then he will have a nice half an hour more sleep. You know how important is morning half an hour extra sleep. And then he will enjoy his sleep, go, by the time the restroom will be free, have his bath, have his shave, and go and attend the thing. This is the way you beat the time. So the lead time is all the time that you take, including waiting time, including chit-chat time, chatting time, including lazy time, including mind-wandering time, all that. Then what is cycle time? Cycle time is the minimum time you should take for doing that activity. Like I said in this colonel's case, it takes only 15 minutes for you to have a bath. Provide only that 15, eliminate that waiting time forever. You take, for example, when you are going to be sitting and reading, put yourself in a corner of a hall, facing the wall, so that you are not distracted. Look at the book. You tell yourself, next 40 minutes I am not going to look here or there. On the contrary, you sit facing the road. Lot of people will be going and coming, and your attention will be drawn. What you could do in 40 minutes, you will be spending more than an hour. This is the difference between cycle time and lead time. I would like to end it with a story. You have to be fast. You may be fast, but the question is, are you fast enough? There was an old dilapidated building. In the old dilapidated building in the backyard, there was a tortoise. Amen. And the tortoise decided, oh, I have lived here for long, why don't I go out of the road? So it took about a week's time to come to the back veranda from the garden. And then slowly continued to move. It took another 10 days to come to the kitchen. And then it looked here and there. It took another 3 weeks to come to the hall. Then it took another 1 week to come to the front veranda. Then it took another 10 days. Slowly it started coming down. It came out. The moment it came out, the building collapsed. The tortoise said, oh God, I came very fast. If only I have delayed, what would have happened to me? The question is, are you fast enough? Beat the time. Find out what are all the things which are not required, those non-value adding activities. If you remove, you will find your 366th day. You will find your 61st minute. You will find your 61st second in your life. That 1 hour extra, that 1 minute extra will decide the quality of success or failure. Think about it today.
SRMJV is not just a school, it's a one-time experience. The school, it's a one-time experience.
VM Nagar, Tiruvallur,